3,355 pounds, the Apex 191 RBS couples camping dream machine here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Shown here in Summit Edition, which adds, among other things, this beautiful nose cap with automotive inset windshield. Understand that the one that we have in stock could look a little different from the one that we have on hand. We have Asdel laminated sidewalls for lighter weight, greater longevity. And I guess the best way I can describe this one right here is that it's simple where it should be and fancy where it could be. Now, one of the cooler qualities of the 191 RBS Apex here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan is its easy, full travel accessibility. With the slide fully retracted, we have easy access to get through everything, to pack up the entirety of the kitchen. You can get to the pantry that's currently behind the bathroom door, and obviously we can easily get in there to the bathroom with that door open, as you're seeing currently. I love the interior. Well, really the interior and exterior in this, they're really cohesive. They complement each other very nicely. I think better than Apex has done in the past. Everything just looks very sharp, very modern, but somehow still has that good classic camper feeling to it. Now this one up here, it gives us a front walk-around bed, and this is one of the areas where this is so nice for couples because you don't have to like climb over one another like you would with a corner bed, a corner queen in a lot of smaller RVs. And again, it does everything it should, where it should, in the right quantities without overdoing anything. Like the dual side stands with the hanging closets to give you some decent hanging storage. It's a great little weekend runaround camper. Perfect for that kind of use. This is also awesome for off-grid use, like boondocking with bigger holding tanks, 30-30-30, fresh gray and black, which is bigger than you find in a lot of things. They also have a larger overhead cabinet, as you see up here, so you get some decent like dresser space above that. Entertainment is definitely a secondary concern on this floor plan. Usually in a small camper like this, people are looking for more of the camping experience and less of the entertainment experience. But if you do want, you can throw a flat screen against the wall over there, and that can maybe address your entertainment desires, wants, and needs. Which way do I want to go here? Kind of deciding which way I want to end up. So we've got a full-size air conditioner on this thing in a small camper. So, I mean, you can really be pretty darn comfortable throughout the entirety of the summer in here. You should not have problems with this thing being too hot inside. Considering no bigger than the cubic foot of spaces and the size of that area, you should always be good. Plus, if you want extra airflow, behind that air conditioner, you see that you have a venting skylight up there with a power fan. So if you're cooking up a storm, you want to exhaust heat, you kick that sucker on. And they did a good job giving you what storage space they could, wherever they could in here. So a quick note on the fact that all of our cabinetry is pocket screwed. It's not particle board that's been stapled together. It's a lumber core material. It's actually screwed to hold together. And that's one of the little indicators of the really supreme service records that we see on Apex models here at Haylett RV. Now, whether it's your kitchen table in the bathroom by the counter or this kitchen counter, everything is a pressed membrane countertop, so it's going to be more resistant to water exposure. And notice how they do the big little split sink. That is, again, for the idea of dry campers, boondockers, whatever word you prefer to use. If you're going to be off the grid, you probably want to use the little sink so that you're sipping off that larger 30-gallon holding tank. If you're going to be in a park, well, go nuts. You can use the bigger tank and have the bigger gray tank to take care of you as well. Now, quick note, you do have a Bluetooth stereo over here for entertainment options. And you can link that to your phone with the J-Control app, the Jensen app, to be able to, stream any music you want from your phone and control it right there. Now, down below, one of the things the Summit package is giving us is that extra little drawer. Very handy for, obviously, silverware organizers or anything you can think to throw in there. Now, this is a smaller camper. One of the things that is hard to do in a 7-wide RV is to put a microwave in an overhead compartment without really giving up a lot of important storage space. So for the sake of efficiency, you'll see they've done something here that I'm personally a big fan of. And I know that not 100% of everybody likes it. I like it, and I know that a lot of people still like it, is putting the microwave down below the stovetop. And they did something here that's also really smart. They turned that stovetop so you do at least have a little chunk of counter space there to be able to set down a utensil in between stirring things. Now, this is a really important thing to note, is the full 6 cubic foot 2-door fridge freezer. Not always found in single axle campers. It's becoming a little more common, but it's still not across the board, and you do still have a full cabinet above. Again, they just didn't waste an ounce of space in here. Now, one of the things that I've failed to show effectively in some of my previous tours in a 191 RBS is that pantry space right there. And that is, again, something small campers, especially small campers with a big fridge, often lack, is a good pantry space. But you've got maximum potential storage space everywhere that we look in here. You can see that if you want to take the dinette tap, the seating and the base off, you can to get to all the storage below the dinette. I left one of these on here so you can see that it is a higher grade, a nicer, thicker plywood material, and they even include the nice little finger pull with the eyelet, so it's not going to be a splinter factory for you. And the Summit Edition is going to give us a bench end door to get to some bigger storage there without necessarily having to take everything apart. Another handy aspect of the dinette being in the slide of this Apex is that it allowed them to put a larger dinette in here. So if you do have a guest, you can actually have a bigger guest sleeping space in this one, which, you know, whether it's just 2 people sitting, it's nicer to have the bigger dinette for the extra elbow room, but you could also convert that into a 4-person seater as well. Plus, that really big cross breeze window there in the slide out, you've already seen the privacy shade, but having it opened up like this, so you get all that light, that airflow blowing straight through across to the kitchen breeze window, or maybe you leave the main door open and let the screen door do its job. Plus you have that venting power fan skylight above the kitchen area right there. This thing just, it's nice, it's light, it's bright, it's small, it's effective. That's the biggest thing, guys. It's just so super effective. Now back here in the bathroom, plenty of legroom, even for a bigger fellow like me, and we do have a foot flush stool to make life a little bit easier, so you don't need your face near your business. More of that sealed press membrane countertop stuff I mentioned, and so many brands are doing this, and I think it's so smart. They're getting away from big, tall, step-in bathtubs, and they're making these easy entry, just simple slide-in shower pans. And I think it's one of the best things to happen to so many campers in a very long time. And the vaulted ceiling, which, by the way, this has a slight 2.5-inch vaulted ceiling to it. Not really the best angle to be able to look at that, but that in conjunction with the skylight in the shower will give you enough headroom for most individuals. And then just the little details like a handy little, you know, towel rack right there to keep stuff out of the way. And this bathroom has some dynamite storage. Now, not only do you have the dual hanging closets on each side of the bed, but bam! This is a small camper with some big storage options, and it's like every time you turn around, another thing opens. That's what's so cool about this thing. It is a little camper with just a really big camper storage feel to it. Plenty of room for linens, toiletries, overflow pantry space if need be, a little bit of anything you ever wanted in here. And really what continues to amaze me here is just how transformative that Summit package really looks and feels on these Apex models. You know, just by putting that 3/4 cap with that inset windshield on, it feels like it's on a whole nother level. It takes it way up to 11, and I'm really impressed with what they're doing here. But what's cool is we always have these handy little magnet holdbacks on our baggage doors. You know, remember what I said, simple where it should be, fancy where it could be? Well, this is a smart, effective use item right here. And it makes it easier getting in and out of that storage compartment. Also, we do have a side mount solar plug here, and a small camper like this is pretty darn easy to park in the shade, depending on where you're at, obviously, and then be able to put a panel in the sun. And you've got plenty of room for panels and totes for all your hoses and cables and connectors and yard games and folding chairs and everything else in there. Now, this camper has a 7-foot body, so it is an easy towing, narrow body camper, and really that's one of the best things about the Nano series is their smaller stature and towability. Also, their very low exterior height. I have to double check the specs. I think it's only like 9 foot 8 inches or something to the top. I don't know. I posted those specs at the 5-second mark of the video if you need to double check them, or visit us on our website and you can see anything you need. The idea here, though, is that it is small, light, strong, built well, again, exceptional service records. And another thing that this has going on for it that I haven't talked about much is ASDEL. You can't really see it very easily, but it's one of the things that allows this RV to have a slide here without being too overly heavy on a single axle. It's the layer of material under the fiberglass skin, and the Azdel material itself, it's basically a wood substitute, but the material can't rot, mold, mildew. It's lighter weight, has some sound dampening qualities. It has a bunch of tertiary benefits that go with it. I also want to point out the fact we do have front and rear stabilizers. Shocks me how many single axle campers, trying to be as cheap, as inexpensive as possible, they'll cut out front stabilizer jacks just to save like 20 bucks. That's just stupid, and they don't do that here. The windows are very heavily tinted. Like, I've got the lights on inside, and you can't see them. So you've got excellent privacy in here, and that'll also help block a lot of sunshine from getting into the RV to heat things up arbitrarily. And you also have a really rough textured, seal gripping, leak preventing slide wall, and a self-adjusting slide mechanism. Every time that slide fully opens or closes, it'll run itself through a small self-adjustment period so that it always opens and closes square, because if it doesn't, if it doesn't get fully opened or fully closed square, well, you could have a leak issue, and that's not going to happen here. You do have a black tank flush. You do have an outside utility shower with hot and cold water on these. Handy for just all sorts of reasons, whether you're cleaning yourselves up, cleaning some fish, the grandkids, the whatever. You've got a handy little spot to do that. Spare tires included. I hope you never need it. And this is a camper that rides on 15-inch wheels, which is not always found in a smaller single-axle model. Especially as things try to call themselves lighter and lighter and lighter weight, like this does. You'll often find them going to smaller suspensions and chassis, and you won't find that here. This is a lot of lamination. It's fully aluminum framed, but we have a laminated floor, sidewalls, and roof, and that is a fully walkable roof. And it's actually more walkable than many other Apex models due to the fact that it does not have central AC ducting essentially carved through the laminated roofing, so it's got more structure to it than some of the others will. Now, I'm not at a position here, unfortunately, where I can open the slide out, but this is a slide power awning here. I said slide out because of these slides. I'm not in a position, let me start over, where I can open the awning due to these slide outs. There we go. But we do have a power awning. It does have full-length LED lighting at the base, and you also have LED lighting in these speakers here. If you check out some of our other Apex videos or visit us in person, we'll fire them up for you and you get to see. And then just the little handy things like the larger entry handle and the double step. It blows me away how many of these little campers, they'll have, like, imagine if it only had this one top step right here and you had to bring your own portable two-stepper with you. I'm trying to be friendly about this. All I'm going to say is that you're going to find a spree of campers that have that sort of glaring defect because all they're trying to do is be a dollar cheaper model. This isn't necessarily trying to be less expensive. It is less expensive than a lot of things out there, but it's also not the least expensive option. They put really smart money into this. Everything they did with thought, purpose, intention, and excellent execution. And I'd like to think that we kind of mirror that sentiment here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. We don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else. Hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.